Hello, this is Amber Willenberg from the U of L Libraries, and in this video, we're going to talk about developing a search strategy and using that search strategy to find peer-reviewed sources for your research paper about film or digital or visual media. Before we begin strategizing and searching, let's first talk about what an academic peer-reviewed source is. Let's take a look at this article, Power and the Denial of Femininity in Game of Thrones. This is a scholarly source, but how do we know this? First of all, we can read the abstract to see that the aim of this article is to understand why women must deny their femininity to be taken seriously in traditional male roles, and whether that denial transforms as effective power or undermines them in the eyes of Westerosi society. In other words, the purpose of this article is to present research on the ways in which femininity is portrayed in the television show Game of Thrones. This is a key feature of academic articles. They add new knowledge to an ongoing scholarly conversation, in this case, a larger conversation about gender and the fantasy genre, through research. Next, we can see that the author is a PhD student and researcher at a university. Academic articles are most often written by professional scholars associated with a college or university. You can see that this article was published in the Canadian Review of American Studies. If we Google this title, we can easily find out that this is a peer-reviewed journal, meaning articles published in the journal undergo a formal review process involving other scholars reading and responding to the work. Finally, if we scroll to the end of the article, we'll find an extensive bibliography with pages of citations. Academic articles are written as part of a larger scholarly conversation on a topic, and the bibliography shows how the authors have situated themselves within that conversation. By citing peer-reviewed sources like this in your own research, you're participating in the scholarly conversation as well. Now that we have an understanding of what academic peer-reviewed sources are, we can talk about finding them. The library is the best place to find academic sources. These types of sources are expensive, and your tuition dollars help pay for the library to provide access to them. While you might be able to find some academic sources on Google, you'll often run into a paywall and not be able to read the whole article for free. Another issue with searching for peer-reviewed sources on Google is that you'll probably get millions of results for your search and have a hard time narrowing the results down to high-quality academic sources. In library databases, your searches will return fewer results, but the results have been curated by humans who decided that these sources are useful for academic research. However, because library databases are more specialized, it's helpful to develop a search strategy before you begin searching. Let's say that we've decided to research gender in the television show Game of Thrones for our final research paper. If we were using Google to do our research, we could simply search for "How is gender portrayed in Game of Thrones" to get results. In library databases, though, we'll search using keywords, the most important words from our research question. In this case, gender and Game of Thrones are the most important words from our question. We don't just want to stop there, though. It can be helpful to think about ways of broadening and narrowing this question with our keywords. Having broader keywords is especially important for those of you researching a very recent film or other digital or visual media. Scholarly articles take a long time to get published because they have to go through that peer review process. So if you are researching a film that just came out last month, you won't be able to find scholarly research on it just yet. In our list of keywords, we can include broader terms like fantasy genre and television drama in case we don't find articles written specifically about Game of Thrones. It's also helpful to think about narrower keywords in case we get too many results. Gender is a very broad concept, so we could think about narrower keywords like women, femininity, or gender roles. Brainstorm as many broader and narrower keywords as you can. Having more keywords gives you more options for your search, so you don't get overwhelmed or stuck when you start searching. Now that we have a list of keywords to help us search in the database, we need to think about subject areas. The library's resources are organized around academic subject areas, so you need to think about what subject areas might be relevant to your research topic. What kinds of researchers are writing about gender in television shows? We might think of film studies, communication studies, and women's and gender studies, and add these to our list. Once you've developed your search strategy, you can begin using that strategy to find sources through the library. Let's get started on the library homepage, library.louisville.edu. Since you are probably off campus right now, one helpful thing you can do right away on this page is go to Accounts at the top right and click Off-Campus Login. Enter your ULink ID and password here so that you don't have to log in later when you start finding articles. The best place to get started finding academic, peer-reviewed articles is our subject guides on the left side of the page under Quick Tools. These subject guides divide up library databases by subject area, making it easier for you to find the most relevant resources for your research topic. Remember, one of the subject areas I identified for my research question on gender and Game of Thrones was film studies. So we can click on the film studies subject guide and find a handful of the very best databases where we can search for academic articles in the field of film studies. The database Film and Television Literature Index is a great place to find articles on film studies, while MLA International Bibliography, JSTOR, and Project Muse are good databases to search for articles on visual and digital rhetorics. Since you're all researching a wide variety of films or digital or visual media, I'm going to click on the first recommended database listed here, Ebsco Academic Search Complete. Ebsco Academic is a multidisciplinary database that covers a wide variety of subject areas, including film and media studies and rhetoric. In Ebsco Academic, one of the first things you'll notice is that there are multiple search boxes at the top of the page. This is why we developed that search strategy with a list of keywords. We'll enter one keyword per box. Let's try some searches. First, we'll put television in the first box and gender in the second. This search gave us over 3,000 results. While this is not a lot compared to Google, it's a lot for a library database. But remember, we've already brainstormed several narrower keywords, so we can easily narrow our search down by replacing television with Game of Thrones. We now have just 15 results. While we need to look through the results to see if they appear to be what we're looking for, this is much better than the 3,000 results we had before. Just keep in mind that you might have to try out several searches with different combinations of your keywords to get the most relevant results. On the left side of the screen, you can narrow your results further by eliminating everything that isn't scholarly. Since you need to find 5 peer-reviewed sources for your research, you can go to Limit To on the left side of the page and check the box next to Scholarly Peer-Reviewed Journals. This gets rid of other professional source types like news and magazines that can be useful for research but aren't scholarly journal articles. We now have 9 peer-reviewed articles specifically about gender in Game of Thrones. At this point, you'll need to begin looking through the articles to see if they seem relevant to your research question. The titles I'm seeing look pretty relevant, so I'm going to go ahead and click on this article, which seems interesting to me. One thing to notice is the abstract. Always read the abstract because it will give you a quick overview of the whole article, helping you determine if it's useful for your research before you read the whole thing. Another helpful tool here is the Cite button. Click this to get the MLA citation for the article, which you can copy and paste right into your annotated bibliography. Just be sure to check over the citation and make sure everything is correct. If you decide you want to save this article to read later, there are a couple of options you can choose from. First, you can see if there is a PDF of the article available on the left side of the screen. If so, feel free to save that directly to your computer. Another option is to use the email tool on the right side of the screen to send yourself the article. If there is no PDF, you can click on Find It at U of L to see if we own the article or if you need to request a copy of it. When you click Find It, you'll either see a View Full Text link, which will take you to the article, or a button that says Request Item through Interlibrary Loan. If you see the Request button, that just means we don't own the article, but we will request a copy for you from another school. So just click that button and fill out the form to place a request, and we will send you the PDF of the article, usually within a few days. If you ever have any questions while conducting research, librarians are here to help. You can chat with a librarian Monday through Friday from 9 to 4 right from the library homepage, or click Ask a Librarian to find more ways to get in contact with us. You can even schedule a virtual one-on-one research appointment with a librarian for in-depth research help. Thanks.